for New Science, Technology and Innovation Policy 2020 by the Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. As we all know that it was acknowledged that in order to stay globally competitive, it was necessary to make a transition into a knowledge-based economy. This policy document was a step in the right direction towards building a robust national innovation ecosystem. Hope we will have a very fruitful discussion for the new STI policy. We are privileged to have with us our EC members of VVM and other distinguished members of Vivekananda Mission West Bengal chapter, directors and scientists of CSIR Institute of West Bengal. So our today's topic is on Science, Technology and Innovation Policy 2020. At the outset, I would like to invite Dr. Jajati Keshari Nayak for his introductory speech on STI Policy 2020. Dr. Jajati Keshari Nayak, Scientific Officer F at Variable Energy Cyclotron Center, VECC Kolkata. He is also Governing Council member of Vigyana Bharati. Over to Jajati ji. Hello.
Yes, Jajati ji is got disconnected. He is joining. He's already joined. 1 second.
Hello.
Jajati ji, can you hear us?
Yes. Right
yeah,
now.
Sharbari ma'am already introduced you. Then you can now you can start.
Okay. So am I audible clearly? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So myself Jajati Nayak from Vigyan Bharati, and we are assembled here to discuss on some points related to the upcoming Science, Technology and Innovation Policy 2020. Basically, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India has made an expert committee to make the policy. And in this process, they are trying to consult some experts. And they had invited Vigyan Bharati to 2-3 meetings to basically for Vigyan Bharati inputs. And then also suggested Vigyan Bharati to have some wide suggestion, consultation to various stakeholders of scientific communities. So now in this process, BIMHA is widely consulting with the maximum number of stakeholders that is possible in science, technology and industry arena. And we are trying to get some inputs from everybody. And DST has approached BIMHA, that is BIMHA is one of the largest group of scientific researchers, and we have a good chain of volunteers. So we would use this opportunity to provide DST a timely and honest feedback. So we know that in 2013 the last policy was there, and mostly they are discussing so what are the lacuna in the last policy, how much we can do the improvement. So all sorts of they are discussing. So since all the experienced researchers are present today, we hope some good points can be brought out, which can be requested to be implemented in the upcoming discussions And those points should have the potential to see the dynamics of R&D. And aim is to create a good scientific atmosphere. And we know that scientific research has two broad parts. One is understanding the natural phenomena and increasing the knowledge of horizon, which is part of the basic science. And second part is understanding the scientific processes and applying it to get result-oriented technology, which is part of the applied science. Although both are important, but at present, maybe the time demands, the country should focus more on applied research without neglecting the basic research, so that overall prosperity of the country can be enhanced. And since we are all researchers, we can tell better what problem we are facing to use our maximum potential. We know, so the scientific community, we have our potential, so many potential candidates are there. The potential, we don't utilize the full potential. So what kind of problems we are facing so that we can use our maximum potential, or how to extract maximum potential. So what should be the policy that would drive the science and technology in this era? Because the whole world has seen many new technological evolutions in the last decades. So in the single line, we can say, so as a researcher, what we would like to see in the upcoming policy, we can discuss on that. And it's good that Arun Bandyopadhyay sir is there. So he may chair the session, today's session, and so many experts are available. So we can hopefully bring out some good points so that document it and send to DST in time. Thank you very much. Hello, yeah.
Over to Sharbari ma'am. Ma'am, can you please introduce Director IACB, Dr. Arun Bandyopadhyay sir?
Not audible.
Sharbari ma'am, is it audible? Hello.
Hello.
Ma'am, can you please introduce Dr. Arun Bandyopadhyay sir?
Some problem around, I don't know.
You can go out and
yes.
Then in. Once you can go out and then.
Okay. So here with us, Dr. Arun Bandyopadhyay.
No, Sriprasad, you unmute.
So now I can welcome Dr. Arun Bandyopadhyay. Sir is the director of CSIR IACB. Very recently,
some problems out. I can't hear anything. I don't know why. It's a crack.
So I'm requesting to Director IACB, Dr. Arun Bandyopadhyay, to give few words about this new policy. And along with that, I would like to welcome Dr. Muralidharan. Sir is the director of CGCRI. Sir is also joined here. So I welcome Muralidharan sir also. Now I am requesting Arun sir to give few words about this science and technology policy.
Yeah. Thank you. Hello. Yeah.
Yes, sir. It is audible. You can.
Yeah. Should I go ahead first?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So, thank you very much for including us. From IICB, myself, Arun Bandyopadhyay is there with Dr. P. Jayashankar, Chief Scientist, also here with me. And Dr. Upasana Rai also has joined from IICB campus. So this is a very fantastic idea that before it is finalized, the draft, we should get some feedback from scientific fraternity. And Kolkata is an important place, and CSI has very important stake in shaping up science in India, R&D, especially R&D activities in India. Personally, I have many observations over the last 20 years, and I have some suggestion how to improve the quality of science and how to utilize the scientific output for the society. In fact, CSIR is directly involved with this kind of activities for several years. Something is visible, something not visible, but CSIR is integral part of the society for uplifting the life standard of ICT people of India. But we have some genetic problem throughout India for so that we can improve our output. We can improve, bring out some innovative technology, because we don't have dearth of talents. What we are lacking in some of the issues. Number one, the innovation and creativity is supported and encouraged in a society where risk is supported, where failure is encouraged. India is a society where failure is not encouraged. That's why we don't get huge innovation, but we have the potential. So that's a societal problem. It's a cultural problem. So that can be managed by scientific policy. Our think tanks are trying to do it, solve it. One of the important ways is to give some support some projects which will have ambitious project. And there will be no there will be risk-taking projects, ambitious project. Those kind of projects should be encouraged. And number two, people should have, scientists' life should be increased. Like scientists, after maturation, suddenly they are treated as ordinary government servants. So they got their retirement. So that should be very important criteria, because not only for us, CSIR, it's an overall problem in India. Because once they mature, they should utilize their experience and their long research background, so that at a time they are able to take risk. At that time, they leave the scientific fraternity, scientific area, and that's why we are losing a lot of talents inside. Not only we are losing talents when people are going out, but we are also losing talents, trained manpower in research and development, when they are highly experienced and they are productive. So there are many other important ideas. So I think the people will discuss here, and I think it will grow as people discuss over the time. So now I think I open this forum for discussion and feedback from other scientists as well. Shivrasad ji.
Thank you, Arun sir. Now here with us our Director of Central Glass and Ceramics Research Institute, Dr. Muralidharan is here. I'm requesting to Dr. Muralidharan sir to say a few words regarding this new science, technology and innovation policy.
Okay, can you hear me, Sri
Yes,
Prasad?
sir, yes, sir, yes.
So I kind of completely agree with what Dr. Arun Bandyopadhyay told just now about our scientists retiring at an age at which government has asked us to leave the job. The point is, there are 2-3 types of scientists we have. I want to be very frank. There are some kind of people who just come, for them this is another, it's not a profession. It is just a pastime. They have to be separated from people who are very active researchers, people who push projects. The third variety of people, they're useful. They're not useful directly to the functions for which CSIR was set up. That is the industrial research. But they're very good strength, they're very good scientists. Very good scientists, they do very good science. So I think in the longer run, as we go along, since we are making a science and technology policy for the country, and the discussions are on, we should probably segregate the retiring people into 3 categories. One set of category of people who will continue to do high quality research, and they can be supported. We already have some schemes for that. CSIR itself has got a CSIR Emeritus Scientist scheme, and Department of Science and Technology, and many others have such schemes. So that, I think there is enough funding available for that. And the people who are may not contribute to the science and technology, Unfortunately, the message has gone to the high-ups that majority of us are belong to the category, which is a totally wrong perception. There are people who have still fire left in their belly, and people who are still contributing to science and technology and innovation, and also adding value to the research we are doing and adding to the strength of the country. There has to be a scheme which can encourage such people, and maybe we have to conduct some kind of search job, and they have a very strict form of what should I say, selection has to be done, so that these people can continue for 5 years or something like that. But that selection has to be non-controversial. Selection has to be on merit and merit alone, and should be based on the proven track record of the person. I think this is a must, and I think that will make it happen that CSIR will be, or any other professional bodies like CSIR under government. They have people with a purpose. Right now, we are branded as just another government department. That definition has to go. That is what Arun also said. The definition of us being a government department should go, because then you are compared with the rest of the people in the government. We do very special tasks, very special tasks. This message has to be now percolate up. I don't know what is the word for percolate up. It has to go up to the highest seat in the country, in the government, so that the rest will be rethinking in the current policy. And that's all I have to say at this point. If there are any more queries and more discussion, then take part definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Over to Sharbari Sen, ma'am. Ma'am, please continue. Sharbari ma'am, is it audible?
No.
She having some issues.
So, okay, so then
Jajadi,
yeah,
can you take
yes, okay. So maybe sir has mentioned a very good point. Muralidharan sir has mentioned a very good point. So basically, there are so many experienced and well qualified scientists who are at the verge of retirement, retiring age, or just after the retirement. Some sort of things should be done for them so that they can contribute, because their experience, a new scientist can't have that kind of experience. So they can contribute, no doubt, in a much better way compared to young scientists. So maybe we can have that some question answers or some more elaborate discussions after that. But before that, the other panelists, those who are there, they can have their viewpoints. So, madam, can you hear me, Sharbari madam? Yeah, okay. So other panelists, Sushil Prasad, we can have.
Yes.
Dr. Jagati.
Yeah.
Dr. Jagati.
Yes, Sidhendu Mandal sir, you can.
Yeah, Dr. Jagati, you can please the name of the scientists who have joined from CGCRI, from IICB or CMERI, so that you can everybody can know that the thing. Yeah, so that would be nice. Yeah.
Dr. Partha Sarathi Goin sir. Yeah, Dr. Partha Sarathi Goin sir. Sir, can you have your point?
Yes, I am in a college. I completed PhD from Saha Institute of Nuclear Physics and then joined Shivpur Dinabandhu Institution College. I am carrying out research work by taking the grant from UGC. It was a major research project. But at this point, it is too difficult to get the funding from UGC. Is it possible to continue the grant from UGC? I think at this moment the grant is stopped. So is there any news?
No, that is a basically a temporary issue. What we want to say is that, like sir mentioned, what you feel that in the upcoming policy, what you would like to see, what should be the basically special provision you would like to see in the policy. So from your angle as a researcher, what kind of changes or things you want to see in the policy?
So Jajati ji, we can start from IICB scientist with director Arun sir here with us. Dr. Jayashankar sir is here, so we can I can request to Dr. Jayashankar sir to give his viewpoints. So we can start with
that should be the I think that should be the best choice. This one by one you can yeah.
So we can go to IICB first with the director sir Jayashankar sir. Sir, please.
Okay, Jayashankar. Yeah. Okay. Thank you everybody, and good afternoon. And it's a fantastic opportunity for IICB to be part of the, giving a suggestion to make the SNTI policy of Government of India. In addition to what our both the directors suggested, I would like to point out, instead of saying the same thing, I would like to give a couple of other suggestions. Like, see, as Sri Jajati Naik told, that the emphasis is going to be on the applied research. Absolutely, it's true. Actually, it has to be, because it's not that we publish the paper and then we just forget about the science. Actually, so that should be the starting point to bring out the tangible product. That has to be the policy needs to be formulated in such a way that the encouragement is tangible product from the research. In order to do so, we need to engage industry. See, as a CSIR, we have limitations. As a scientist, we innovate. We can take the particular product to the certain stage. Beyond that, we scientists cannot do it actually. Say for our institute, actually, see, we are in the identifying a new drug or identifying the target biomedical research actually institute. In that way, see, we can bring out we can identify to certain extent this is the potential drug candidate. Up to that only. Beyond that, it is going to be beyond our limit actually, and it is also difficult for us, for even government organization to fund. So in that stage, at that stage, if Government of India encourages the industry to come inside and handhold with the CSIR or any CSR organization, any scientific industrial organization, to take it further actually. So in order to do so, the companies, the private firms will not come just like that. The Government of India, it was giving actually a lot of incentive in order to do so. If I remember, in fact, the 1990s, the Dabur and then DST, there was an exclusive program was run by CSR IICB. We have identified, couple of lead molecule. So, but we could not take it further. So the incentive can be from the Government of India for this kind of industry who are actually handholding with the scientific organization to tap the product, to take it further, needs to be in the form of tax rebate kind of thing. Then that will really encourage the private industries to come inside to handhold with the CSR organization, not only CSR, any scientific organization, even universities also, to take the product to the next stage. This is the one thing actually I wanted to point out, that we scientists have got a limitations and we cannot go beyond that. But beyond that, and one person cannot do everything also. That is also not possible. But we need industry participation. Government scientific policy needs to be framed in such a way that the industry collaboration or industry participation is encouraged and given a proper encouragement. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Arun sir, can you mention, because I don't have a full list of IICB, can you mention some other?
Yeah, now we have Upasana Roy. Upasana, you can take points.
Yeah, I'm audible to all of you.
Yes, yes, it is audible, please.
Yeah, so actually Dr. Bandyopadhyay has already covered and Dr. Jaishankar also. I just want to add a few points as a young scientist who is building up her lab or, there are, or his lab. Basically what I think is young scientists are the future of science and thus they must have vision. So that vision is very important and they must learn to make constructive policies for societal benefits in various sectors like education, health, gender equality, etc. So more interactions happen when participants trust each other, right? So building trust is very important and maintaining strict ethics is extremely, extremely important. Situation of science and scientists can be improved in our country, particularly only if younger generation have long-term vision and they have to learn what is this long-term vision. Okay, and the senior people have to teach that. So what is this long-term vision should be like? And then they should work cohesively towards understanding critical problems and addressing the same. So we all have some duties to, towards our society, and we should be, the vision should be that part of our time we should devote towards fulfilling this particular need. So I think that's all for this first meeting from myself, and I'll transfer it to the next person.
Yeah, now we are done from ICB.
So I think now we can, Jajati ji, can we call CGCRI? We can take the, anyone else from IACB? I think.
You can go to CGCRI now.
This is Prem Tripathi. If Director ICB allow me to speak, I mean, I can say.
Sure. I didn't notice you that you joined. You report.
Okay, please.
Yeah, Prem Tripathi, go ahead. Prem, go ahead. Yeah.
Right. So this is Prem Tripathi. I'm from ICB. And I want to focus that new science policy, it should have a strong interaction between academia, industry, government, of course, taking together young scientists and the senior scientists, and should focus more toward the technologists and which can be useful for the general public. It should also integrate the lesson that we are learning from COVID-19 and building kind of a Atmanirbhar Bharat for self-reliance during at least COVID-19. So they should also be included in the science technology policy by leveraging our strength in research and development, in designing by the help of the technologists, using our demographical dividend and our diversity. It should also focus more toward research should be more toward innovation, which was also a policy, last year policy, but that should also be further strengthened. So overall, it should involve the extensive public and expert consultation process throughout, like a feed-forward and feedback mechanism through Indian science policy, focusing toward the more toward the technologists among the scientists, and also have the scientific outreach to the general public. That's what I want to say.
Okay. So anyone is.
Thank you, IACB team. Next to Jajati ji. Jajati ji, can we shift to CGCRI? Can you call?
I think Sidhendu is there. Sidhendu model is there.
Sidhendu sir, is it audible?
Yes.
Sir, can you start from CGCRI? You can start from CGCRI.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening to all of you. My sincere thanks to our director for giving me an opportunity to take part in this particular discussion. These are my director, the senior colleagues like Dr. Asim Kumar Chakraborty, Dr. Dipan Sandal, Mr. Satya Majumdar, Dr. H.S. Tripathi, Dr. Atoshi Pal, Dr. Devasri Ghosh, they are all in this, they have taken part in this meeting, and they have also registered in there. Maybe they can also share some of the relevant information pertaining to this particular point. Exactly, I was listening since beginning, and it was a very good initiative and drive taken by the Viva, the West Bengal unit. The highest policy, science, technology, and innovation to be implemented, or in respect of this, what exactly the scientific throw can be, the scientific approach can be thrown in order to make it a more popular, or it will facilitate to take a good decision to this direction, as correctly pointed out by Director ISCB, Dr. Arun Bandyopadhyay. Yes, I agree with him. Absolutely, I agree with him that a scientist comes into the picture at a very maybe very before some 2 to 3 years before the retirement age, when he develops something for the benefit of the society, for the benefit of the country, then by the government policy, of course, one has to accept it. Because of the government's policy, because of the government's the laid down policies and decisions and guidelines, one has to superannuate from the government services in any forum, maybe in the DST, DBT, CSIR, ISRO, DRDO, DAE, Defense Research and Development Organization, like that. But as you know, that any technology which is to be very effective for the benefit of the country's men, particularly below the poverty line, or to the common man, to the society, or to the serving to the high energy, high technology applications like ISRO, like BSSC, like DAE or DRDO. So the technology developed by that scientist or the group of that scientists, it takes a decade time. But when it is actually implementing in this country's program, by this time he also retires. So if he is given an ample opportunity beyond his retirement age, then only some improved versions or the updated technological version may come out, which will flourish like anything, and it will serve the society, the country, the common people to a great extent. Although the young scientists are coming into the picture, the young leaders are coming into the picture, but they cannot take a decision because of their the age factor, or because of that particular technological experience to that direction. Maybe they have come from a background, but they are doing research work in a separate background, although the basic parameters are same. But the process steps to develop the technology has gone, so he has to accustom to the system, and that takes a little bit timing. But by this time, the main scientists, the core scientists, like our engineering, the core subject, civil, mechanical, electrical, and the instrumentation there, like that, the core scientist has to give some more timing to serve the society. So in that respect, some policies has to be relooked, as correctly pointed out by the director, CGCRI, Dr. K. Muralidharan. He has pointed out very clearly that some motivational aspect to that scientist leading to a technology development to some extent, serving the nation, serving the country in broader respect, as well as the technology for the common man, like our CGCRI is a water technology. The technology developed by Dr. Satya Majumdar. The traditional ceramics, Dr. H.S. Tripathi is writing the proper line. So those technologies should serve the common man to the every corner of the country. So in that respect, some policy changes are required, as CGCRI is also doing mostly the technological work in a very mega project of the country, time-bound project. So the scientist has to be engaged to that extent, and the young leaders, the young scientists are coming to the direction also. The innovation, definition of the innovation, as correctly pointed out by Dr. Arun Bandyopadhyay, it is agreed that it's a kind of experimental findings through and research and other things, maybe in one part of an equipment or one particular oxide in a composition, which plays a very pivotal role. That is also an innovation component. of that particular technological tool. So the innovation has to be highlighted. What exactly innovation does play a role in the technological game to be utilized for the demand for the common man, for the common society, for the ground people. So one has to give a proper direction to take the innovation to that level. So in this way, the Viva can take some major program in the light of science, technology, and innovation policy, so that both the viewpoints, as explained now, can be placed in one single umbrella, so that it can be brought to the notice of the top management for giving a second thought or giving a relook on the subject matter. I wish this particular program really will be a grand success, and the decisions coming out, the thought processes are coming out from this meet, from this direction. If you compile all the things and give it to a proper place, I think then it will add to a certain value. I once again thank you, the organizer, and thank you so much for giving an opportunity to speak something. Thank you, sir. Thank you, our director, C.D. Sharai. And thank you, Dr. Jayajati and Mr. Siprasad for giving me an opportunity to speak something in this direction. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, yeah, next. From CGCRI, anyone?
Yeah, next, Mr. Mandal, you can guide from CGCRI who are present here. So one by one, they can.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Asim Chakraborty is here. Either Dr. Asim Kumar Chakraborty or Dr. Dipan Sannal. I can see Satya Majumdar is here. Satya Majumdar.
Yeah.
Satya Majumdar can speak.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Hello, Satya. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So
okay, Satya.
Yeah, I'm coming to the point. So,
yeah, go ahead.
Talking point is basically it's linked to Atmanirbhar Bharat and how to go for indigenous technology and how to minimize the import, how to minimize the technology transfer from abroad, and such like issues are being discussed. Now in this line, actually what we need to do is that first we need to have a good analysis of what is our strength of India in terms of raw material, in terms of scientific manpower, in terms of manufacturing potential, in terms of integration of the professionals, like starting from scientists to engineers and then marketing people and finance people. So my observation is that in our system, all these people do not go along very well. So because of that, the projects actually fail. So that integration and mutual trust and mutual understanding is very much important to deliver a target-oriented, a product-oriented project. So in that line, how government will be thinking and government is thinking, that is not very clear. But one thing I'll like to tell very clearly, now it's the time to stop fancy research. So because somebody did in US, we also should do that same thing. By the time we come up with that same thing, US or Japan or Germany has come up with a 10 times better device or better product within that time. So need analysis is required. And one point I would like to say here, that how much self-reliance. No country can be 100% self-reliant. So there will be import, there will be mutual exchange of goods, products, services, softwares, etc. So how to balance that? That should be an aim. So give and take policy. If we are only the consumers and we are not the producers, So then we cannot dictate on equal terms, because we are the 90% import and only 10% we export. So perpetually we will be the importer only, and we will be draining out on national resources. So in that line, government should think that how to streamline these activities, and instead of investing money, instead of granting projects in many different activities, various activities, it is applicable in CSR labs also, just to satisfy various scientists. It looks like that some sort of distribution of funds to all scientists, CSR projects. So it is the time to stop. There should be a focused mission mode, mission oriented project, target oriented project, product oriented project, technology oriented project, and there should be a deliverable, should be requirement of the country. Either it's a high value products, medical devices, or societal interventions, whatever it be. So that strength has to be analyzed, and accordingly the policy has to be framed to utilize our financial resources very judiciously, so that we can save our national resources from wastage. That was my point. There are other speakers, so I do not want to prolong my points. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Satya. Thank you very much for your good throw in this direction. Your point has been well taken by the Jiva. I think they will see for necessary action to this direction. Dr. H.S. Tripathi can speak something in this direction.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes. Please. Hi, audible. You are audible. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just I totally agree with the Mr. Sacham Majumdar. We may not be Atmanirbhar in all respects, but we can find out some of the areas where we can. Yeah. Can you hear? Hello.
Noise. There is noise.
Yeah. Yes, you are audible.
So we may not be Atmanirbhar in all respects or in all area. Maybe we can be Atmanirbhar in some selected area that we have to select. And one thing is particularly we are giving stress on to develop the product development. But at the same time, the government or different agency, now they are giving a project for 2 years, 3 years. Even our CSR system also giving instead of 3 years, 4 years, now it is 2 years. In some cases, it is less than 2 years. So in some cases, particularly in engineering lab, it is difficult to get a good student. Why the good student will come to us for a 1.5 year project? So in that case, we should frame some guideline. Maybe the project for 2 and 3 years. I know in different forum I just mentioned it. Maybe the project for 2 and 3 years, but the fellowship should be continue for 5 years, so that we can invite the good student. Those who can build up their career, they can complete their PhD work. But if the project is 1.5 years or 2 years, they cannot complete the work. Then they have to wait for another some sorts of funding or some fellowship to continue his study. That is one of the hindrance to get the good student. And in our system in India, the collaboration between the educational institute and research institute, collaboration or mobility of scientists, mobility of academician is very low. And one of the things is, now we are not matching, because now our retirement age, our salary structure, and everything is different. Although it is not like that, because all the scientists are retired at the age of 60 years, but in university it is 62 and 65. But it is not like that. After 60 years, the good scientists, they cannot do the research work. They can continuously support in the research activity. They continuously guide the student to develop the product, to develop the good quality basic research work. So we should frame out some sorts of policy. The retirement age should be same, or maybe the scientist after retirement from a research laboratory may join the academic institute also. We should do some sorts of India should develop some sorts of policy, so that there will be a particularly the interaction between the industry, academic institute and research institute will be more, and then I think we can do some good thing for the nation. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Himanshu. Thank you very much for your nice direction. pertaining to the science, technology, innovation policy, the initiative taken by the viewer. Thank you very much, and your point is also extremely noted. Dr. Otosi Pal is here with us, I believe.
Yes, I'm
Dr.
here.
Otosi? Yeah. So I now request Dr. Otosi, what will be your viewpoint as the previous speaker said in different directions in context with the science, technology and innovation policy? What exactly do you think that what exactly we need to change the present system, or any upgradation is required, or a major deviation is required in terms of the scientific policies or technological policies in every corner to meet the country's requirement in all spheres?
As per my experience,
Yes, Otosi.
yes, as per my experience, I can share that sometimes there is a gap between a good research and a good marketable research. And we are doing some basic research and go for the technology, and then after developing a level of technology, we are going to industry. Then we find that the research value is quite good. It is as a research, it has good impact, but it is not so much that commercial. There is not so much demand if we go for commercialization, because the demand from an industry is different to project in the Indian market. So as per my view, if we go for the industry collaboration in times of basic research, then we can be a much more focused in the technological development. That is the lack of our case, and nowadays the basic there is no fund and time given for the basic research. As long as the basic research will not go, so the technology will not come out within 1.5 and 2 years. So the funding and the students involvement, as Dr. Tripathi mentioned, that there is no commitment to our students to do some basic research part and go for the technological development throughout his or her PhD work, because in other places a PhD thesis is itself a technology development, but here it is a lack to create that kind of manpower and the trained manpower, so that they can also go for industry work, and we are not able to train that manpower for such a long time with a good fellowship to continue the work for the further development. So we need the project for technology development, also need the project for basic research at the same time. That's only my view.
Yeah, Mr. Mandal. Yeah. Anybody from CGCRI or?
I think Debashri Ghosh. Debashri Ghosh is also from CGCRI.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so thank you for this opportunity, and I'm also from CGCRI, and most of the points have already been covered by my senior colleagues. What I would like to reiterate is the active participation of industries. This point has, the stress has been laid on this point before also. And yeah, I'd just say that we being the scientists, we can develop the technology up to a certain level, but beyond that, the commercialization, all the nitty-gritties of marketization. So in that respect, the industry has to come up, and the participation of the industries has to be more active with research institutes like CSIR and all. So that point, because many of the times we have seen that we have developed some technology, but we don't find proper takers. And in that bid to search for quite a few industries, we lose out on some research work. We tend to lag behind at that point. So that is one point. And another thing which Dr. Tripathi and Dr. Otosi Pal also mentioned, the student influx in research institutes should be should be enhanced somehow, because students tend to go to universities or to IITs where they know that they'll get some papers, 3 or 4 papers in 5 years, and get their PhD done. But we have seen that they don't tend to come to research institutes, although in many cases we have more opportunities in terms of sophisticated instruments or in terms of lab facilities. So these 2 points I'd like to reiterate and lay stress on. So that's from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Devasri. So this is all from Central Glass and Ceramic Research Institute. Now I can request Dr. Jajati to take the things forward to other scientific organizations or other CSR labs. Thank you, Dr. Jajati, for giving us an opportunity to share some of the very invaluable views on this particular drive and initiative taken by Viva Science, Technology and Innovation Policy for 2020. Okay, thank you all. Thank you very much.
So can I request Professor Malla Reddy from IISER Kolkata?
Yeah, thank you, Jajati ji. This is Malla Reddy from IISER Kolkata. I am in chemistry department. So I have a few points actually already, so a lot of points have been, valid points have been discussed. So quickly I will summarize, 3 different points. First thing, what we need for a good performance is, we need a good free and fair environment, working environment. I think some of the policies that we have are very, very old actually. Suppose if you see the conflict of interest. So we all know what conflict of interest means, but there are no clear-cut guidelines. I think these we have to do very seriously, because if there is a very good performing person, and then if conflict of interest basically becomes unfavorable, so then it becomes really a problem, and people try to use other methods to basically go up, and then there is no accountability if there is no clear-cut environment. That is one. And then gender related policies are also very old in our country. For example, in most of the countries, the person who is reviewing another person in the same organization cannot have any relationship or things like that. These are very well established rules all over the world, but these rules are not at all there in our country. I think these are very serious issues which can jeopardize the fair environment. And then another thing is accountability. Suppose if someone has a power to distribute large amount of money, and then they should also have accountability, and then there should be a review very clearly, and the person who is taking the funds also should be accountable, and then they should have clear-cut history of performance, and then this has to be built. This way you eliminate all other conflict of interest and many other issues, and then things become very straightforward, and then people can easily focus and then work for single goal. And then transparency in the system, like how one is going to basically get benefited or go in the up in the ladder, should be very, very clear, and the policies should be very clear. So everything should be very transparent. That is one thing. And then a fair and robust review system is very important. So we know that, sometimes as Professor Dr. Muralidharan said, so a lot of people have a lot of enthusiasm, but they should be very clearly, identified, and the system should be able to basically clearly identify them and then incentivize their performance. So this is very important. Then this will actually encourage other people also to get into this kind of mode, performance mode. So that will be very, very useful for developing the competitiveness in the organization. So then another thing is, now it is very easy to analyze the data, but most of the institutes do not have a data analysis team. I think this is also very important, and whatever policies we make, whatever problems we take up, all should be driven by data. I think we also sometimes don't know what is our strength in the institute. I think clear data analysis and should be done. So this will be very, very useful. And for example, performance, identification of key areas can also be done with the data analysis, and distribution of funds can also be done by data analysis, because we know the performance and many indicators by analyzing that. And then history should also be built using the data for each individual institute, and even for the policies that are used for distributing the funds, even that should be also analyzed very carefully using the data. Suppose if there is a policy, and suppose if a very well-known scientist is given a lot of money, okay, for doing things. And then if there is another scheme which gives a lot of money to youngsters, and these should be analyzed very carefully using the data. So what is more efficient? I think DST and CSR, they themselves should have a lot of data analysis for checking the performance of various schemes. Then another thing, as you know, one of the members mentioned that, you know, there is a serious problem when you try to take the fundamental science into the market. So see, one scientist may be very good in some area, you know, might be doing wonderful basic science, but one particular aspect of basic science is never good enough to give a product in the market, you know, which will be competent in the market. So normally how it works is, if you have a core area, for example, you take a water problem or energy problem. So it is a huge area and you need a lot of fundamental understanding here. You need a lot of small groups working in a team. Actually, you know, in our country, you hardly have any funding scheme which can give a funding to, like, you know, 10 scientists who want to come together and do the basic science. So those kind of things are not available in the country. And I think we have to identify core areas. Like, for example, if you take devices, you know, you need a high fund of physics, you need a material science scientist, you need a computational scientist. All these people have to come together and then develop this fundamental understanding. And then you need another team which is between the industry and the fundamental science. That is a technology development where you have more engineers and sort of people. So you need to develop these core areas very well by putting them into small groups. Then you can go to the industry. So very systematic way. So this will only happen if there is a funding scheme which can be given to, like, you know, 10 to 15 groups in an institute or, you know, in different places. So that has to be done very carefully. And these kind of areas have to be identified by using the, again, data analysis. Like, you know, for example, if you identify a key area, like, you know, artificial intelligence is one area where people are interested, and big data analysis and devices, a lot of devices, you know, those are key areas. Like, you know, flexible electronics, for example, is one key area, which is very well coming up in the other world. But in our country, there are not many groups who are doing it. So normally, if you want to take up something like this, you need like 10 to 15 groups coming together and working from different corners. Then companies will be interested to come to these groups and then go for commercialization. I think these are the important steps that we need to consider for the new policy. And then we will be able to basically translate nicely from, go nicely from the basic science to the market. So that these are the points that I wanted to tell. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mallaji. We have, I can request anybody from these participants can.
We have one more institute is here. CMARE Durgapur team is also here.
Yeah.
So I request to Rajshekhar Ghosh ji from CMARE Durgapur. Rajshekhar ji, can you start from CMARE Durgapur? Rajshekhar Ghosh, sir, can you start for CMARE Durgapur?
You can invite any other from.
Or Arup Kumar Nandi, sir. He is also from CMARE Durgapur.
Yeah, I would request Paulami madam to kindly start the discussions.
Yes, Paulami ma'am, can you start for CMARE Durgapur? I think her connection is got disturbed. Arup sir, you can start. He is not.
Yes, myself is Arup Nandi. Actually, most of the issues already discussed by our CG CERI and IICB scientists. The first issue that they have discussed about the importance of applied and basic sciences, I feel both are important because if we ignore anyone and put more importance on another, so in long term we may face problem to sustain. So other issues maybe I can reiterate all that already discussed by scientists, that interaction between academic and research institute is required to be increased because the basic research mostly done by academic institution and research institute. We are doing mainly applied research. So interaction between them in academic and research is important. And another thing important is that industry requirements in many times is not clear to the research institution. For this reason, the product or technology come up from the research institute is not up to the acceptable one. Another thing is that in research, in applied research institutes, where applied research is going on, where the technology and product is come up, so we normally focus on the feasibility of the technology or feasibility of the product. We are not thinking of its marketability at the initial stage. So by making the first product, it will not be acceptable to the market. So more products or more technology or more prototype is to be manufactured, then only we can come up with is to be marketable. So so up to that, I thank you.
Then I request to Nirban ji. Dr. Nirban Chanda from CMRI Durgapur. Sir, please talk. His connection also disturbed. So I request to Jajadi ji to check out the other participants over here.
Yeah, so yeah, any other participants want to basically have an idea on this issue?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, yes.
Yes, it's audible.
Yeah, so so actually this is Dr. Nirban Chanda from CMRI. So can you hear me?
Yes,
yes, please.
Okay. So yeah, so I heard all the discussion and I am kind of agree with the other scientists. So we are actually kind of potential scientists, and with that we believe, okay, that we have kind of confidence, and we are doing actually applied research that Dr. Arup Nandi said. So that's what actually we need, kind of good connection with academics. Okay, so but means they are actually doing basic research and we need their help. So that connection actually we need to establish. Okay, and another thing is that so we are doing applied research. We are trying to develop products. Okay, so and that that the problem is that actually we are actually giving a small amount of time. So for example, developing a medical device, okay, so within 2-3 years, okay, it's very difficult because it needs rigorous testing. And so within 2 years, okay, giving a product to the society is very difficult. So that actually, that policy little bit has to be rethink. Okay, it has to be little bit flexible. And in terms of manpower, okay, we are doing, actually we are scientists. Okay, we have kind of tenure job. Okay, so that's fine. So we have long time to do the research work, but at the same time we need some kind of good students. Okay, problem is that actually students, we are getting projects for 2 years. Okay, so and students actually they are actually joining us, but at the same time they are looking they are doing for the products, okay, development, but at the same time they are doing for some papers also, good papers. So that's what actually the problem is, that actually within 2 years, okay, it's very difficult to balance both, okay, giving good paper to the students as well as developing products. But at the same time, so within 2 years, okay, fellowship is kind of over. Okay, now the scientist is in problem. Okay, because by the over the 2 years, okay, maybe the good the research actually kind of reach to the actually kind of 60%, okay, 70%, but at the same time we are lacking kind of fund. Okay, students also leave, and we are kind of going to back. Okay, again, okay, that research actually kind of delayed, so we need to kind of rearrange. Okay, we are to look for funds. Okay, so this type of problem actually we should not have, and policy should be kind of like that, so that we'll have kind of a little bit time, good funding, so that we can do testings, we can do kind of means after technology we can pursue the fate of the product, how it is performing. So this type of actually things actually we need to kind of incorporate in the policy. So that's my point actually. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Hi.
you.
So Jajalji, is it okay if I from ISCB again? I just
Yes.
Okay, couple of points which I just forgot actually. In fact, I'm sorry. The one point is that actually the Government of India has come out with the National Sophisticated Instrumentation Policy, sharing of the instrumentation policy. It's a fantastic initiative by the present government actually. In the same way, if there is a database of the experts available in different field, which will also what Dr. Muralidhar and Dr. Arun Bandyopadhyay, both of them have pointed out actually, the performing scientists who are retiring, the experts, different experts in the national level database, then government can utilize this database for different purposes also. Like Vidwan, which is available, actually most of the people, most of our scientists, I would say, do not know actually. In fact, so there is a Vidwan, which is a project actually it is not completely directly supported by the Government of India, indirectly supported one. So if such type of database can be developed, that would be the exports, national exports policy kind of thing. Then we can also. Yes.
Yeah, basically you are talking of mapping up resources, basically analytical instruments available in all laboratories, so that one can access to any laboratory.
No. That is already available. That is fine. Yeah. We have to integrate that one. That's already there. Actually, national policy is there. That's in fact last year one it come out. In the same way, the experts actually, the scientific experts, like national database consisting of the scientific experts, like the Vidwan. I think you are aware of Vidwan. This Vidwan, www.vidwan. This is the national Government of India indirectly supported project, which is actually collecting the data of all the information about the scientists, different experts in different fields actually.
Okay.
So if you can incorporate the scientific policy, can have the national policy of collecting this one. So you can utilize them even after the superannuation also, if necessary.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So basically, younger generation can take the most benefit from them. Yeah, guidelines. Yeah, they can take a guidance from them. Yeah, true. Yeah. So anybody from SEMI-RE? So anybody left from SEMI-RE? No. So can we move to basically a question answer session, Sri Prasad? Or anybody, anybody who want to speak?
Yes, now from
yeah.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes. Please talk.
Please introduce yourselves before asking the question, so that all of us know who are you from and from which relevant institute.
I think her connection is lost.
So then let couple of questions related to this. Let me ask to all the experts. So Muralidharan sir, sir, you are here? Hello, am I audible?
Yes. Muralidharan sir is muted. Sir, is it audible?
Okay,
Okay,
Tripunaji, do you have the number of
yes.
Okay, Balaji?
So,
you can contact Balaji. Please, please confirm that whether sir is there is a meeting or maybe sir is having another meeting. Please confirm it.
Okay.
And Bandyopadhyay sir is there?
Yes, Arun sir is here.
Yeah. So, Bajati, what I that many of the discussion, many of the points raised here.
I'm here. Okay. Muralidharan here.
Yeah. Should I go?
I'm going for a bio break. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Should I go ahead, Jayati?
Please.
Yeah.
Please continue, Arun. Please continue.
Yeah. After this hearing from many of the scientists, what I feel that many of the points discussed here may not be pertinent to national science policy, because we are discussing national science policy. Many of the issues are discussed which can be sorted out at the institute level or the organization level. There are some leadership issues which are discussed here, some personal problems. Those are fine. Those can be handled. India is a good country for handling all these things. Many systems are already in place. Those are not either informed or those are not either utilized. But what we need to do, Jayati and Shivaji, we should have a draft write-up, circulate among all the people in Calcutta, the people who are involved here, and that draft we will submit to national science policy maker. So, in summary, summary, what we should highlight, that there should not be difference between basic and applied research. Today's basic research can be tomorrow's applied research. High quality research should be the main agenda. High quality R&D, innovative research should be encouraged. Therefore, point number one, high risk, high reward research scheme should be encouraged. That should be the policy matter. High risk, high rewards research scheme should be encouraged. Number two, utilization of experienced manpower should be encouraged. How we will do that, policymaker think tank will decide. Number three, less cumbersome procedure for project management. That means, I want to say, bureaucratic steps may be simplified, which like procedure should be flexible for R&D activities. Like same government system, government procedure should not be applied for R&D activities. R&D activity needs flexibility in the financial system, procedure, purchase, and overall project management procedure. International travel for the scientists, technologists, innovators, academicians should be encouraged, because then only we can interact with other scientists. What is happening outside the world should be directly witnessed there. And cutting edge research should be encouraged. There should be in the policy making, policy draft. And many other things we can control, like how many people discuss that how to collaborate with industry and other things. See, CSIR is a good model. I am not boosting CSIR being the CSIR employee. CSIR is a fantastic model for encouraging business, because CSIR has business development department, every institute, every lab. So that is already there in place. Now some lab cannot utilize, that is their problem, but some lab are utilizing very nicely. So we should improve those. Similarly, in other institutes, we should have business development group. Scientists will do research up to certain level. Then business development group will take it forward. That is very similar to what is happening in Western countries. We have this system. Many places it is not good. It is not very well, but we can improve it. We are doing it in CSIR system. It's a good model system. And rest of the things are very minor. We can easily handle. Thank you.
Yeah. So so basically also Mr. Socha Majumdar mentioned that basically integrating everything, integrating the scientific personnel and the persons who will take the science from the laboratory to the industry, and also finally marketing and commercialization. So there should be a holistic approach, policy for the holistic approach.
Yeah. So it is there in CSR.
So
Other institutes also can implement those.
okay. Yeah. So Muralidharan sir.
Yeah, I've come back. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I've taken a bio break.
Yeah.
So I've listened to most of the talk just for brief while I went out. See, we had a very good discussion. Now, the points which emerged is that we should encourage research that will convert to applications, and those should be useful for the country. One thing the Prime Minister's forced us to do is he has increased the value up to which you can import materials. So you can't now just get materials, you have to make them in India. So India mein bana do. Well, that is the thrust of the time, and it's something which all of us, the scientific community, should be behind it. Because if you'll go through a little bit of trouble, it's not a big issue. We'll struggle a little bit, but the struggle is worth it, because the struggle is for a better future. But one thing which we have to also do, we have to encourage the kind of models which throws up leaders and leadership ideas. The best example that comes to mind is the Fraunhofer Institute in Germany. You cannot reproduce a Fraunhofer Institute here, but you can have some of the models of that. There can be some people who are highly gifted, who are full of ideas, and they can give ideas. For example, somebody who was contributed well through his career. We should be able to keep them as national professors, keep them in those positions. And I don't think many of them look for money. Many of them don't even ask for money.
Yes.
I don't say all of them. I don't say all of them, many of them.
It is absolutely agreeable. It is absolutely agreeable, and I agree with you, sir, that in most of the cases they don't need money. They need some honorable position even after their superannuation.
Exactly. Honorable position, and their voices have to be heard.
Yes, sir.
That I
Correct.
think
Absolutely
convert,
correct.
that along with the policies rightly followed by the government should yield them. Please. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think the model, you can look for other models. There may be better models in India only. You look at Nalanda and Takshashila, where we ran very important business. And it seems at one point of time, India used to export to the other countries. It's the Western civilization which came and overtook us, and that killed all the nascent technologies which is available here. Otherwise, we were a gross importer. We were importing our technologies. Even the steel we made here, our steel, wood steel, was well known all over the world, and that was the best steel available those days. And you look at, I was reading recently through Rabindranath Tagore's work. When Rabindranath Tagore faced with an epidemic or similar situation as that time, he wanted to protect the small group of students with him in the Vishwabharati. So he developed technologies for them, for that community, small community. If that can be done for a small community, we can do it for the whole country. And we should also then take messages from, Rabindranath Tagore, what he did, and message from Vivekananda. We have to have our own models, our own examples, and we should, there is a context changed. We are not living in the same context where they lived. But the principle they followed was brilliant, and we should follow it. And there are more examples from our history. We should use them. And I'm sure we have a bright future. People may say so many things. We may struggle through initially, but how did China do it? China also did it the same way. They went through struggle. Korea did also went through struggle, but after 50 years, they are become a power. So there is nothing stopping us becoming a super power. But we don't want to take 50 years. We want to do it in 10 years or 15 years or something like that. So I think that is the national, the policy, science and technology policy, which we recommend to government should have the elements which encourages indigenous thinking process. Our own brain should work, and that should contribute to the national cause. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay. So my question was that, you have elaborately told. So basically, the knowledge sources, all those who are in the returning process, they should be utilized in a proper way. Elaborately, I wanted to know what should be the mechanism. You have also told very clearly, like national professor, and they should go and maybe they will be placed in some universities so that they can share their experience to the teaching academic fraternity and students. That would be useful, or some other by some other mechanism, if they can be they can contribute, it would be definitely a better way. So what I would like to say one point is that, sir, so many good points came. So if everybody can summarize his point through a single or one or two statement, and then they can have some explanation or justification like that. But if one or two line statement, that would be easier to put in the draft. That would be better. So then finally we can collect all those things. Since we have email IDs, we can collect all those things. And before that, sir, I can may I ask you a question, Muralidharan sir?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Jadati. Dr. Jadati.
Yeah.
Dr. Jadati, that what I feel that from CGCRI, what exactly we have thought of. So we can make a brief paragraph or one-page write-up from CGCRI point of view.
Instead of write-up, it would be better always point-wise, because in the policy,
that will do. That will do. Yeah. What I'm telling that if we make something in the bulleted form from CGCRI as a whole, then send it to you. That would be nice. Or you need individual.
I want to say something. If your document is very voluminous, the people who matter may not have time to read it. It has to be brief document.
Yes, sir. Yes.
That should make the impact.
So that's what we are. Yeah.
Maybe CGCRI can furnish some bulleted points in a half page, something like that, or maybe a paragraph, something in the bulleted point.
Same thing from IICB also.
IICB, same from CMRI Durgapur. So you can have maybe 1.5 page. You can have the total viewpoints to this direction by the CSR laboratory.
Yes. So actually, sir, I am sharing one more point. Those who are in the last committee in 2013 committee, so they expressed their basically grievances that whatever best suggestions came last time, and most of the things were not implemented. And they basically tell that bureaucrats deleted all those points. All those scientists gave all those points. But this time, the plan is that we should be very much careful. At least whatever the best suggestions are coming, there should be one thing is practicability should be there so that they can be implemented, and there should be some provision the policy to check the implementation. So in generally in the policy there is no implementation part, although some good things are written. But these policies, some implementation part should be there to check whether they are implemented or not, and some.
We lost you.
Yes, Jajati is disconnected.
Yeah.
Jajati, is it audible? Hello? No. So I would like to request, and the main thing is in this meeting, we have different scientists from different CSR institute, and same time we can't neglect the gender equality. Most of
Sure.
our
Sure.
male scientists are here. So our women's wing, Vigyan Bharati's women's wing, Shakti is also conducting same type of meeting in the national level. So I request to our national secretary of Shakti, Dr. Rita Bhattacharya is here. She were silent in the meeting. I request to Dr. Rita Bhattacharya to give some idea about what Shakti is going to conduct, and she can request to the directors and scientists over here to part of that program with their women scientists over there. So I requesting to Dr. Rita Bhattacharya to give some points.
Okay.
What is they are going to plan?
Namaskar. Namaskar to all. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes.
No, I'm audible. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Namaskar to all. I'm Dr. Rita Bhattacharya from Shakti. Our Kolkata unit is Kolkata Nivedita Shakti. We are going to conduct the same type of with lady scientists and lady letters and West Bengal DST. So I need your help, and all directors here, 2 directors are there, and I need your help. We need from all the CIL labs at least 2 ladies who can give it. Here we got a point somewhere there. So apart from them, if you give 2 names, so it would be very helpful for us. And already we discussed and already will said this thing, and what is this 21 points. Within the 21 points, we'll take the gender equality and the what is the woman scientist or innovators problem they want to change, implement, or add. So that we want to know from them, and together from Shakti and Vigyan, we send it to the center. And I'm requesting you all to help. We give the date and we will contribute to Shri Prasad. I can directly contact you to the name of women scientists. Thank you.
Thank you. Then I would like to request Dr. Ayan Datta.
Okay. So first of all, it has been a wonderful program, and we got a lot of.
Hear you, Shri can't hear you.
Okay. So first of all, let me acknowledge the fact that it has been a wonderful meeting, and we got a lot of good ideas. So as a scientist myself, and also the secretary of the West Bengal Vigyan Bharati, which is the Vivekananda Vigyan Mission, I thank you all for taking time from your very busy schedules. The 2 directors of these CSIR labs, very prominent CSIR labs, and both at Jadavpur. I am also your Jadavpur fellow from the Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science. So, and I also thank the scientists of CSIR labs, all the 3 CSIR labs, the members of Shakti, Kolkata Nivedita Shakti, our interested scientists, Dr. Jajati Nayak, who has been the National Organizing Committee member and who has been planning to coordinate the research institutes in and around Bengal and their ideas into the central committee, so that we have an STIP which is more sensitive to the requirements of the current generation and the requirements of the scientists in general. By listening to your points, I just thought that I will also had some very good food for thought. So I just remember there are 3 points which have been discussed. One of them is, of course, the data repository. We need to have a directory of scientists, their expertise, so that we can coordinate with them, so that the knowledge which they have generated for last 20, 30, 40 years of research does not get wasted away just because of the clock of the time in which a scientist has to retire. So we need to have continuity of research, and we need to have continuity of ideas. This is a point 1. And the second point which Dr. Arun Bandyopadhyay also brought to us our notice is to increase the risk-taking ability of the scientist. I mean, the scientists should not be just based on just the number or the impact factor or both. It should be based on the impact of the research rather than impact factor of the journal in which the research is being published. So there should be some tangible ways in which we would be able to judge the impact of a scientist to the society in general. And the third one, which of course many of you pointed out, is the issue of bureaucracy. Of course, the scientists of India should be worried about solving the mysteries of the universe, life, and atom, rather than trying to find out the mysteries of the rule books of the government books or the rule books of the audits. So here I would like to also know that the rules of a research institute should be different from the rules of a in general government Sarkari office. So this has been my take home from this wonderful discussion. And I thank the Vivekananda Vigyan Mission, Shri Prasad ji, Rita di, and Jayati ji for this wonderful event. And I'm sure that you would also have some more time to think about it in the next 1 or 2 days and write your points in a consolidated form if required and send it to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ANG. So I think by saying thanks to the director, Dr. Muralidharan sir, and Dr. Arun Bandabadhyay sir, so and the whole team of CSIR Institute in West Bengal and Vivekananda Vigyan Mission members. Thank you, everyone. We can wind up the meeting now with the permission of all.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you both. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Shri Prasad ji. Thank you, Dr. Yadav ji. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jai Bharat.
Jai Bharat.
Jai Bharat, sir.